Welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at Springwell, the dangers of chloramines in drinking water. So are chloramines good or bad? As disinfection goes, chloramine is the go-to solution. It gives long-lasting protection, but some studies have shown that chloramine drinking water can have a string of undesirable effects. So is it good? Is it bad? Well, a lot of people have been switching from chlorine to chloramine. Water treatment plants. Chlorine was the original chemical used by American municipalities for water disinfection, mainly because of its effectiveness and low cost. And when chlorine is added to water, it initiates a process called oxidation. Chlorine forms a weak acid called hypochlorite acid that has a neutral charge. So even though chlorine is still the primary disinfectant used by most U.S. public water systems, it has two downsides. It's volatile and can escape from tap water as it travels through water mains, and can react with naturally occurring organic compounds. So although weaker chemical than chlorine, chloramine is less volatile, remaining in the water for longer. It has better staying power, prevent microbial contamination along journeys of pipes. After it reaches a tap and enters a drinking glass, there are some issues. So there are some dangers of chloramine. Some of them are it irritates the skin and the eyes, and that's one of the most significant trade-offs using chloramine in water, is that it can aggravate skin conditions and can irritate eyes and sinuses. Showering or bathing in chloramine-treated water can cause severe rash breakouts in people with sensitive skin, and also if you have a pre-existing skin condition like acne or eczema, they can severely exacerbate those problems. There can also be harsh taste and odor. It's not as harsh as chlorine, but chloramine carries a chemical aftertaste that can leave the water with an unpleasant metallic or tangy chemical taste. It also may harm kidneys or dialysis patients. Chloramine may harm kidney dialysis patients by contaminating fluid and entering the dialysis patient's blood. Once in the bloodstream, the chloramines can alter the hemoglobin, resulting in a potentially life-threatening condition called hemolytic anemia. So it can cause some significant issues. There's toxic to aquatic animals and plants. If you own an aquarium, do not replenish the tank with water containing chloramine or chlorine as well. Sea aquatic creatures like fish, amphibians, water-based reptiles, and marine invertebrates have fragile internal organs and structures that are incredibly sensitive to chloramines. And exposure to the chloramines through gills or skin into the bloodstream can kill these animals in numbers. There's also corrodes metal pipes, solders, and fixtures. And a perfect example of chloramine's indirect impact is the water system it replaces. Chlorine-based water treatment system with a chloramine-based system to completely comply with DBP. And with these regulations, when this occurs, the municipality must increase the pipe corrosion inhibitor to prevent the chloramine from altering water chemistry and causing lead and copper to leach into the water from old service lines and solders. The issue is Washington, D.C. doesn't consider this when they switched from chloramine-based system in the early 2000s, consequently resulting in the contamination affected water lead levels throughout the city, which led to a 5-year contamination crisis and exposed more than 42,000 children under 2 to significant lead levels. Also, adults are vulnerable to lead's health-threatening effects, as we've talked about this quite a lot. There's also copper contamination, which we've talked about. That's also typical with chloramine in drinking water. There's copper pipe leakages that also doesn't play with copper pipes. And as we know, if pipes start to get older, it will leak different particles of that pipe, say it's copper or lead or whatever it is, into the water system. And that can alter the water's chemical properties together with low pH and alkalinity and nitrification. It deteriorates rubber, so not only is chloramine destructive to lead and copper pipes, it eats at the rubber plumbing parts as well. And in some cases there's nitrification. When chloramine is oxidized and converted to nitrates through nitrification, while nitrates don't pose a health concern in low doses, they can deplete the chloramine residuals that suppress microbial growth. So are they safe to drink? They're generally not a health hazard. The issue is they can cause all these other problems here that can cause health hazards. That being said, studies have shown drinking water with 4 milligrams of chloramine does not cause any illness or long-term health effects, since public water suppliers are held to strict guidelines for water they distribute. However, hemodialysis patients are an exception, as chloramines can enter their bloodstream through the dialysis membrane. So does your drinking water contain chloramine? It can be a bit challenging to tell because it has no odor or taste. So how do you know? Well, you have to get it periodically tested. So if you do want to know if your water has chloramines and if they're affecting certain things, then it's always a good idea to have your water periodically tested to know.